Hello all my lovies, I would like to quickly just say I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. I would really appreciate it if you just quickly hit the subscribe button. It'll only take a second and it would really help me. Thank you so much and let's start the video. It's been so long. Part 11. Marinette awoken the next day without the fright she had had the day before, but not in complete peace. She knew what was going on this time and wasn't scared by it, even though today wasn't a very productive day. When it came to actually escaping, it was one to look forward to. "Good morning," Tiki said. Marinette smiled at her Kwame. "Morning. I hope this won't be a missed opportunity or mistake. You know, taking the day to do something fun rather than something that's actually helpful to our mission," she sighed. Tiki shook her little head. "No, I think it's important. What's the point of having a partner than to have a little laugh and bring joy to each other?" Tiki said. Marinette nodded her head. "You're right, Tiki, as always." She rubbed Tiki's head, who giggled. "Spots on," Marinette said softly and got out of her bed and into the living space. Shot was not yet awake since he was still in his room. Ladybug thought for a minute. What would be the most fun thing she and Shot could make for breakfast? Pancakes, Ladybug thought. The red lady floated into the kitchen and opened the fridge and checked the cupboards, hoping to find any pancake mix or something that could be used to make pancakes. Yes, score! Flour, eggs, salt, baking powder, milk, and sugar, Ladybug said quietly but excitedly. Thank God for a child's love of pancakes on a Sunday morning, although the verdict was still out on the actual date of the day. "Good morning, my Ladybug," Chat Noir yawning, emerging from his cave. "Good morning. How did you sleep?" Ladybug smiled brightly. "Pretty good. What are you making?" Chat Noir leaned on the counter with a childlike wonder, watching Ladybug grab bowls and whisks and spatulas. "We are going to make pancakes with chocolate chips and blueberries," Ladybug said happily. The cat superhero's eyes lit up with more joy than water in the ocean. His entire being gleamed and shined. "Really?" he cried out, unbelieving and excited. Ladybug laughed at his young delight and tapped on his nose. "Yes, really." Shot jumped up and down, squealing like a child. "What do I do?" he said. Ladybug pointed to the flour and measuring cups. "Measure out 1½ cups of flour," Ladybug said, sifting together the other ingredients. She grabbed the blueberries in the fridge and chocolate chips in the cabinet. How do you measure flour?" Ladybug heard her partner in crime fighting ask. She turned around and burst out laughing. "Oh my God!" Ladybug giggled. There Chat Noir was, covered in flour from head to tail. Help?" he asked, biting back a smile. "Chat Noir, did you spill flour on yourself?" Ladybug laughed. She wet a towel and began to wipe the fine white wheat powder off his face. "Maybe," Chat Noir chuckled. "I've never done this before." Ladybug wiped off the flour from his cheek. "I know, and it's okay. The first time I made something, I got almond flour everywhere, not just me. It's like a rite of passage." "Get covered in flour," Ladybug smiled. She remembered the first time she made macaroons. It was very messy, especially since she was about age 10 at that time. "Well, that makes me feel better," Chat Noir said. "That's good," Ladybug laughed. Chat Noir smiled fondly down at her. "Nice to know you're not all luck at all times," He smiled. Ladybug gave him a playful, pointed look. I'm not perfect. I've gotten eggs all over the walls, too. Chat Noir gasped. Do tell, he said brightly. Ladybug laughed at how fun and playful her partner could be. You're kind of weird. I hope you know that. Anyways, I was beating together eggs and I lifted up the beaters without turning it off, and it flung everything everywhere. Chat Noir gave a hearty laugh. That's funny. And I'm not weird. I'm clearly very normal. Chat Noir defended himself. Yeah, sure. Whatever you want to think, Tomcat. Ladybug raised a brow and smiled. Chat Noir wiped down his leather suit and sighed, his mood completely changing. Sorry I messed up, he apologized. Ladybug looked at him and crinkled her brows. You don't need to apologize. You didn't do anything wrong, she said, confused. Chat waved to the flour on the ground and all over him the counter. I messed up. There's flour everywhere because of me, he explained. Ladybug gave a small, awkward laugh. So? Everyone makes mistakes. Who cares if you got a little flour out of the bowl? You don't need to feel bad, Ladybug explained. Chat Noir only looked at Ladybug with an unreadable expression on his face. Anyway, here, I'll teach you how to correctly measure flour, she explained, and showed him how to correctly measure flour. Chat Noir watched intently and focused, almost making Ladybug laugh by how serious he was acting. No regular person was so focused on learning how to measure flour. But Chat Noir didn't really seem like one you'd call normal. Wow, these are so good. You're so good at cooking. Chat smiled. He stuffed his face with the chocolate pancakes an hour or so after he learned how to make them. Ladybug raised a brow. It's a pretty easy and basic recipe. You can make them at home if you want. Chat Noir swallowed and looked at Ladybug with a sad smile. No, I can't. Ladybug stared back at her partner, confused and concerned. That's unfortunate. We should, I don't know what we should do next. What do you want to do? She asked. Can we play a board game? He asked excitedly. Ladybug nodded her head. Sure, if we can find one. There are a lot of bookcases, so maybe we can find one. Ladybug and Chat Noir both looked through the bookcases and found the board game Force Finders. Oh, this one's always fun, Ladybug smiled. Her partner jumped up and down. I've always wanted to play that game. Everyone says it's so fun. Ladybug raised a brow at him. Okay, she trailed off. Maybe this was why Chat was such a strange person. It made sense that he grew up a bit weirdly, considering this is how he turned out. Alright, do you know how to play? Ladybug asked as she set up the game board on the table. Kinda. You roll the dice and move and draw cards and stuff, he replied. Yeah, that's basically it. Ladybug shrugged. It was an easy game. No wonder it was in the house. Almost every kid, except for Chat Noir, loved playing this game growing up. Get a 3, get a 3, get a 3, the black cat chanted, shaking the dice in the palm of his hands. Throwing them down, he watched them closely. The dice landed on a 1 and a 5. No! He yelled dramatically. I trusted you. Ladybug laughed with her hands over her mouth and almost fell over. Chat Noir was such a drama queen. It's okay. You just don't get the extra card, she giggled. Chat Noir sent her a hard glare. No, I wanted that card, he said. Ladybug smiled and shook her head. Oh, kitty, you're fine. Chat moved his fair piece up 5 spaces. Your turn, he said, handing off the dice to his lady. She tossed them and moved up 8 spaces on a special card block. The superheroine drew from the top of the pile. Cool, a get out of quicksand card. Chat Noir threw his hands in the air. Aw, I wanted that card. Ladybug giggled. Sorry, she said in a sing-song voice. Chat Noir pouted. I get that you're Lady Luck, but come on, Chat Noir sighed. Ladybug laughed and flicked the card in his face. Too bad, little cat. Chat Noir shook his head and smiled affectionately. My turn. Maybe I'll get lucky this time. He shook the dice vigorously and dropped them. 3 and a 6. I'm in the sand. The cat pursed his lips, and only 1 away from safety. Ladybug placed a hand on his shoulder. Guess a black cat can't lose his stripes. Chat Noir turned his head towards her and smiled. Who says he can't change his coats? After finishing the board game and Ladybug winning, of course, it was time to eat. The bug and cat searched around for another classic meal that he'd never had before. Luckily, a box of instant mac and cheese was in one of the top cabinets. It was a simple meal every little kid had eaten when they were young. Well, everyone but little Shot, though, since he jumped when he saw the bright blue and orange box. Ladybug decided that this would be the second meal she and Shot would have for the day. I've always had super fancy pasta, but somehow this is better, Chat Noir mused. Really? I've made some really fancy pasta, and it doesn't compare to this, Ladybug smiled. Yeah, it just seems less business and more homey, Shot said. Ladybug raised a brow at him. I don't know why you'd associate a nice pasta dinner with work and powdered cheese as better, but you're a strange feline, so it's fine. Shot looked at Ladybug with another unreadable expression. I just live an unconventional life, he commented with a lower and more bored tone. Well, you're a normal civilian by day and hero by night, so I'd say you're right. Chat Noir chuckled. I think my normal life is a bit more different and wilder than you'd imagine. Ladybug pointed her fork at her partner and smirked. I have a mind that knows no bounds. Chat Noir laughed. I think if we'd met under more classical situations like school or work, I'd say, this is why I like you and why we're friends. But since that's not why we know each other, I'll say, this is why I'm glad you're my partner. Ladybug smiled. Her heart felt blissful. She was really glad this cat was the one she got to work with every day or night. He was so kind and smart and funny and the kind of person you'd want to be around. I'm very happy you're my partner. I'd never want to picture working with someone else. Chat Noir placed a hand on his heart and smirked. My, how you flatter me, he joked. His partner laughed and shook her head. Her eyebrows crinkled in a giggle. Maybe someday his luck would change. After they ate, Ladybug shooed Chat Noir into his room, saying she was making him a surprise he couldn't see. He couldn't contain his excitement when he was sent to his room. What's my surprise gonna be? Adrienne asked, smiling like a fool when he detransformed. Plag rolled his eyes. Something lame, probably. Plag growled. Adrian shook his head and rolled his eyes at Plag's dismissiveness. What do you think she's gonna do? Plag groaned and rolled his eyes again. I don't know, and I don't really care. Adrian chuckled. You really needed to know Plag to not get offended by his harsh speaking patterns. He was a big teddy bear when you got to know him, but when you first meet him, he doesn't seem so nice. An hour went by, and Ladybug rapped at his door to release the cat from his kennel. Can I see my surprise yet? He said, excitedly bouncing on his toes. Ladybug laughed and tapped him on the nose. Not yet, my little kitty. You're gonna have to wait some more. Shot pouted. Fine, he sighed. Ladybug laughed. Don't look all sad. I found another board game, she said, holding up the game Monopoly. Chat Noir smiled and ran to the table by the couch and sat down, smiling for his partner to set down the game and start playing. Yay! Another hotel for me! Chat Noir cheered, picking up the blue piece and marking his territory. Ladybug shook her head and laughed. See, you're not completely unlucky, she smiled. Chat Noir eyed her with bright, shining eyes. I'd say, he winked, making Ladybug roll her eyes. Shot, she said, with a warning tone. He instantly brushed off himself and inhaled sharply. Yes, I have defied the laws of the universe on black cats. Ladybug cocked her head and bit her tongue from laughing. Only Chat Noir would flirt via a joke, get awkward, and then finish it off with another joke. Why are you so weird? She said without thinking. For some reason, the usual curiousness filter Ladybug's mind had decided to leave, and all the questions she'd had for the past day or two came flying out. Shot moved back in surprise. His lady never asked about why he was the way he was. Never mind, just quick remarks like, dude, you're crazy. Well, I am a cat. We are intriguing creatures. Ladybug rolled her eyes. Wow, like I didn't know that from the 2+ years we've been partners, she said sarcastically. The cat in black laughed. I've just had an interesting childhood, he explained. Ladybug shook her head. Yeah, I had a feeling, but interesting doesn't cover what made you end up like this. No offense, but you're an odd person. Or cat? Ladybug said quickly, her filters still not working the way it should have. Chat Noir looked at her, confused by how outright and direct she was being. Being the responsible Ladybug, she couldn't and didn't ask questions like this, and had to be more vague about his or her personal life. Well, my parents are a little unconventional. And yeah, Shot said slowly, not allowing too much information to slip. He didn't want to risk saying too much and causing future problems. Ladybug nodded her head and finally got her mouth to shut up, and her mind was screaming at her for why she had asked and what she'd asked. Anyways, your surprise is ready, Ladybug said, changing the subject quickly. She pushed him to his room and closed the door as he complained about not knowing what was going on. Shut up and let me set it up, she laughed, holding the door closed. Ladybug giggled as he whined again. Let me make the surprise! Oh my god! But I want to know! You will know later! But I want to know now! I swear to God, just let me do this. Hitting the door a final time, Ladybug walked back to the kitchen. She had prepared a wonderful and fancy dinner for what hopefully was the last night in the house. 30 minutes later, it was all ready, and she could call the cat out of his room. "Hey, Tomcat, you can come out now." The lady in red stood outside of the door, and the moment it opened, covered his face in a blue cloth. "Whoa! I don't want to be kidnapped," Shot yelped. "You're not getting kidnapped," Ladybug laughed. Chat Noir said, "Well, maybe I'm just getting catnapped," he said with an annoying grin. "You're dumb," Ladybug sighed, but had a smile that he couldn't see on her face. Luckily, her playful tone let him know that she was just kidding around with him. Ladybug led Chat Noir to the dinner table, where she had a special dinner prepared for him. Chat stumbled around before finding the chair and slowly and cautiously sitting down. "You know, you could help me get to this chair," he said with a pointed tone. Ladybug giggled and sat down at her spot. "Oh, why would I ever do that?" she joked. "You can take off the blindfold now, though." The cat did as she told and took off the cloth and set it down under the table by his chair. "Wow, this looks so professional. This is amazing," Chat Noir cried out. Ladybug smiled from his praise. "Thanks, I just thought of the fanciest dinner I've made and went with it. I found most of the ingredients, but not all of them, so I improvised." Ladybug smiled. "I've been to so many high-class restaurants, and this could basically be served at one of those places." Ladybug's cheeks flushed pink. "I'm glad you like it." Chat Noir nodded enthusiastically. As both of them dug into the food, the bug and cat had a mild conversation, which was definitely hard to do without telling too much information about themselves. When most people talk, they do it to get to know each other. But for the two masked superheroes of Paris, they had to heavily censor everything. My family likes to draw mostly," Chat Noir said, trying not to let it slip that his father was a famous fashion designer. Technically, he wasn't lying. Gabriel had to draw out his designs. "Yeah, I like art too. It's fun, and I love being..." In the midst of Ladybug's sentence, both of the heroes became blinded by a bright light. The bright flash of light came with a loud crackle, making Ladybug close her eyes from the sheer intensity. The light faded away, and Ladybug slowly opened her eyes quickly and looked around because, what just happened? She saw to her right Chat Noir, making her release a brush she didn't know she was holding. "Oh, Ladybug! Chat Noir!" It worked! The matchmaker cried out, flying in the air, flying her wand around in a blissful dance. "What happened?"